Hey everybody, welcome to Pack One Pick One number 198 on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got some more Core Set 2020 that we're going to open here, see what's in it, and see what we would take Pack One Pick One if this was a draft. Now, if you go over to patreon.com/manaleek and become a backer at the $5 level or above, you get your chance to get all the cards out of this pack, or some of them, none of them, whatever you happen to want. And this week, it's going to go to Gary P. Scary Gary P. So he can let me know what he wants, if he wants anything out of this pack. But we're going to crack this, see what's in it, and see what we would take Pack One Pick One if this was a draft. Up first is Keldon Raider. Keldon Raider is 2 red for a creature human warrior at common. It's a 4/3. When Keldon Raider enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. It's a 4/3 for 4. That's okay. This is obviously a Summit Prowler or Summit Yeti or whatever the heck it was called from Khans of Tarkir, with the upside, I guess that had reach, with the upside of being able to rummage if you want. Totally fine. Not a first pick. Up next is Angelic Gift. Angelic Gift is 1 and a white for an enchantment or enchant creature. And when it ETBs, you draw yourself a card, and the enchanted creature has flying. It's not good. It's not good. It doesn't give power and toughness. Yes, if you put this on a 7/7 elemental, it's great. Show me the world where you can guarantee that you always draw these 2 cards together. You can't. Angelic Gifts is just not worth a card in your library. It doesn't do anything unless certain conditions are met, and even then you can get 2 for 1. Don't play it. Don't pick it. Up next is Fortress Crab. I feel like we had this print run last week. 3 and a blue for a creature crab. It's a 1/6. That's it. If you need this, you can get this very late in the pack. Do not pack one, pick one it. And certainly don't play it in a lot of your decks. But if you need to hit the late game, well, then you can play it. Up next is Goblin Bird Grabber. Goblin Bird Grabber is 1 and a red for a creature goblin at common. It's a 2/1. Pay a red, it gets flying, but only if you have a creature with flying already. If you're in red-white, this fits in as an okay filler-ish aggressive creature, and if you're not in red-white flyers, well, you probably don't play this at all. It's a very late pick, if a pick at all, and certainly not pack one, pick one. There we go. We got out of the print run that we had last week. Bone Splinters. Bone Splinters is a single black mana for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast it, you need to sacrifice a creature. Destroy target creature. Just blow it up. Totally solid. It's not premium removal because obviously you have to sack something, but I will defend Bone Splinters to the ends of the earth because people go too far into saying that it's really not good. You obviously don't want to have 7 of these in your deck. You may not even want to have 2, but it is 1 mana to kill whatever you want. And yes, you have to sacrifice a creature, but that is often well worth the cost. I'll play the first Bone Splinters for sure. I really hope we don't have to first pick it, though. I don't think I've ever first picked a Bone Splinters. Up next is Plummet. Plummet is 1 and a green for an instant destroy target creature with flying. I think this is main deckable in this format. Yes, if you have Mammoth Spider and Netcaster Spiders, don't play this in your main deck because you have better cards. But if you didn't happen to get them, or if you only have like 1 of them, this is 100% playable. There are so many flyers in this set, and blue-white flyers is definitely a dominant deck. So I think you absolutely main deck this. I think you still pick it about where you always would have, which is like late mid-ish pack. But yeah, Plummet is fine and main deckable. Up next is Pacifism. Hello, first pick. Pacifism is 1 and a white for an enchantment aura. Enchant the creature. It can't attack or block. This is the premiumist, not quite premiumist of removals. It is very premium removal. Premium minus, I guess. This will kill off or at least take out of the game the vast majority of threats that you're very afraid of. Obviously, it doesn't deal with things where you're afraid of their activated or triggered ability, but otherwise, this is just premium and a first pick in many packs. Possibly this one included. Up next is Undead Servant. Undead Servant is 3 and a black for a creature zombie at common. It's a 3/2. When it ETBs, you make yourself a 2/2 zombie for each other copy of this in your graveyard. We talked last week about this. It's actually kind of hard to get this to go off properly, and the first one of these sucks. I don't want to pay 4 mana for a 3/2. I don't terribly enjoy paying 3 mana for a 3/2. There's a lot of work to go into this, and that's just not how I play Magic. I don't recommend trying to go deep on Undead Servant. The Pack Mastiff, that one I like. Fairy Miscreant, no. Undead Servant, no. The white one, meh. And I can't even remember what the other one is. Green? No clue. Anyways, Undead Servant, not pack one, pick one. What is the green one? Boreal Elemental is up next. We've got another print run from last week. Boreal Elemental is 4 and a blue for a creature elemental. It's a 3/4 flyer. Spells your opponents cast that target it cost 2 more to cast. As we talked about last week, it's very, very, very good. It was in fact our first pick last week outside of the rare. Yeah, it's a very good card. It's perfectly statted and costed. It's just annoying enough to remove. Like I said, pacifism. It costs 4 mana to get rid of it, but people will still be okay casting or paying that, but it's a slight pain point. So Boreal Elemental is definitely a first pick in some packs. I don't think it holds a candle to pacifism, though. Up next is Maniacal Rage. This should be the last of that print run from last week. Maniacal Rage is 1 and red for an enchantment or a common enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and can't block. Yeah, if you need some reach, if you need to get through just a bit more damage and your deck is frankly not looking that great, then that's where Maniacal Rage is a card that you're looking for and putting into your deck. But generally, you should just not try to end up with such a bad deck. This fits specifically in like 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop aggro, where your top of your curve is like 1 4-drop or something. It's just not a good card and not worth a card in your deck. On to the uncommons. No foil in this pack. We've got 10 commons. Howling Giant. Howling Giant is 5 green for a creature giant druid. It's a 5/5. It's got reach because he's very tall. And when it ETBs, you make 2/2/2 wolves. This is a 9/9 for 7. It's really good. It's really good. It turns out this format is grindy enough that getting to 7 mana is not really out of the question. It can still sometimes be a little bit rough. You go up against that Elementals deck, you go up against that Flyers deck, and turn 7 is just not a thing that you're going to get to. But turn 7 is a little bit easier than normal to get to here, and this will definitely super stabilize you. Really, really, really good card. I quite like it. I would consider first picking it in many, many packs. I don't think it holds a candle to pacifism, though, but we can keep it in the frame. Up next is Fry. Fry is 1 and a red for an instant at uncommon. It can't be countered. You get to deal 5 damage to target blue or white, planeswalker, or creature. Super, super, super good card. I've talked about these a little bit. If you are in red, you should be taking this basically the second that red even slightly dries up. I don't really have any good example creatures. Like I would pick Fry over Keldon Raider. I would pick Fry over any creature that is above filler level, like even into the slightly efficient level. I would pick Fry. And yes, it sits in your main board. You don't main, or your sideboard. You don't main deck it. But out of that sideboard, it's going to be one of the best cards in your deck. These cards, in general, are great. The red one, the black one, the white one are fantastic. The green one and the blue one are very big steps below. They're still playable. But this one's great. It, however, is never a first pick. Our final uncommon is Bloodthirsty Aerialist. Bloodthirsty Aerialist is a creature vampire rogue. It's a flyer, it's a 2/3, and just like Pridemate, whenever you gain life, you put a counter on it. Very, very, very good card. As I said, there is minor life gain themes in black and white, and this is the real payoff. This is the real one. The black common, the Epicure of Blood, is not very good. But this one, if you have this one, then you start to play some more life gain cards. Very good. A strong first pick in many packs. It's not going to be the first pick over pacifism or Howling Giant for that matter. We'll keep it in frame for the last discussion though. Our rare is Mystic Forge. Mystic Forge is 4 generic mana for an artifact. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You can cast the top card of your library if it's a colorless card, which there are none, or an artifact card, which there are. Obviously, this is colorless, but there's no non-artifact colorless cards. You can tap and pay a life to exile the top card of your library, which you've already looked at, which means you're scrying 1 for 1 life and tapping this. This card's horrendous. It's absolutely awful. You never, ever, 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 ever should be playing this card. It's 4 mana. It doesn't do anything. Looking at the top card of your library is not worth anything. Playing the top card, if it's an artifact, there's not that many playable artifacts, which means you're playing bad cards probably. And paying 1 life to scry, super out. This card is unplayable. You should never be picking it. You should never be playing it. And hey, we got a Scoured Barrens and a Golem. Well, my first pick is definitely the pacifism here. I think that's a very easy pick. If the pacifism wasn't here, I think we could talk about Howling Golem versus Bloodthirsty Aerialist, but I think the Aerialist is just such a bigger upside. You are going to play this in every game that you draw it. generally. You may not get a chance to play this in every game that you draw it because you may not get 7 mana, but it is more likely than before. So I'm on Pacifism here. I think that's a relatively easy pick. Bloodthirsty Aerialist if it wasn't. Let me know what your pack one pick one would have been in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me over on Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find me over at patreon.com/ShamanLeek. If you want to become a backer at the $5 level or above, you get your chance to win all these cards, just like Scary Gary P did this week. And you don't have to come in at the $5 level. You can come in at the $2 level, the $1 level. Maybe you can do 50 cents if you want to. I don't know. But the cool bonus there is when you hit $60 lifetime, whether that takes you 2, 3, 7 years, or whether that takes you 2 months, you get one of these playmats sent to you. Just for being a patron, just for helping out, because you guys absolutely help out and keep this channel going. So thank you to all those people. Easiest thing you can do to support this channel, of course, is that thumbs up button and the subscribe button. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.